Hey guys, and welcome to another video. And here I wanted to draw a special treat for all of you One Punch Man fans and my personal love for Genos, one of the main characters. And I wanted to draw him a little bit simpler so that all of you can join in and try to draw him out as well. I used my own tutorial for drawing, well, the same technique as you can see in my tutorial for male faces. You can find this video in my tutorial section on my channel. And by using this simple method of drawing a male face, I was able to put a base for Genos's facial structure. I wanted to add a bit of manliness to him, so I added a little longer chin, and for the rest of him things were pretty simple except for his hair. His hair is pretty detailed, and sometimes people tend to make a mistake by flattening a character's hair straight to his head shape. No, you always need to have volume, so always try to add a bit more volume, a bit more of these pointy shapes to emphasize the hair. And as you know, a lot of manga characters has pointy ended hair, and of course when you draw manga hair, don't draw it hair by hair, draw it thread by thread, and each thread has its pointy ending, as you can see, and sometimes they overlap. Also always try to add a bigger thread followed by a few smaller threads, and just make them playful, make them overlap, and just make an entire hair look more detailed and more fun to look at. And Genos is actually a very different kind of a character because he has black eyes with glowing irises, and well, lighter pupils, and of course that's exactly what makes him so unique to look at. And because he's a cyborg character, he doesn't have the flesh body, only a face that looks human. The rest of him is completely robotic, so his body is mainly black with white veins that, I don't know, conduct power and stuff like that. So the tricky part was that the whites of the eyes here are particularly black, and as you can see, I was using black ink. You can use any cheap black ink, so you don't need any special tools for the line work. Only thing you need is a really simple brush and black ink, and you can use this instead of a black CD marker, or vice versa. I was out of CD markers in my house, so I decided, why not? I'll use a brush and a black ink. And it's something that's very rewarding because you can use one brush to have several different uses for it. You can make thin lines, you can make thick lines, and you can color entire black surfaces just like we needed for the Genos body. And of course the whites of his eyes, well, which are black. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but the eyes I drew were not perfectly symmetrical or perfectly the same size or the same height, which I will make better a bit later in the video. And that's only a sign that anyone with a little bit of effort can just improve, and that even professionals make mistakes, but there's always a way to fix any mistake, fix any error. If you spilled some ink, you can always use white paint to fix it and then color over it. And when you scan the drawing and do a little bit of editing, voila, you have a perfectly corrected mistake, you have a perfectly done drawing. And of course, as I always say, manga authors in Japan, mangaka, artists, they don't use pencils for drawing manga. They always use black ink, maybe in a form of a fine liner, some with ink nibs and black ink, some use India ink, some use black markers, but some even use some form of artistic tools like charcoal, but that's just an extreme case when people are so artistically talented that they can experiment. But mostly none of almost no manga is done by pencil, and you need something really black to get all the lines drawn out. And of course I'm using Copics because it's the fastest and the most easiest way for a professional, because it saves time. But you can always use watercolors for this process. Watercolors are actually great if you have some time to spare on drawing, because you can then have multiple layers of different shades of the same color and play around with colors and get even more shades and colors than you would with expensive Copic markers. As I always say, I only use Copic markers because they save time, because as a professional I have a lot of stuff I have to do, I have to finish during the day, and I just don't have time to wait for my watercolors to dry. That's the main point. So I'm using some shades that I can use on the skin and on his blonde hair, and that's how I save up on Copics. For example, suntan, light brown or dark skin tone marker is something that I can use to shade his hair, but I can also use to shade his skin, because blonde and light skin tone are very similar. And I decided I wanted to have his eyelashes blonde as well. And what you need to do when you draw a light hair is to always imagine a curvy line at the top of the hair and just leave out few threads, white or lighter colored, because this is the main place where the lighting is on your character's hair. And to add to the depth of the hair, you need to see all of these parts of the hair, all of these pointy parts, as individual areas. And if you put the darker color at the top of each pointy end of the hair, you will get a nicely detailed and shaded hair. So try it out. You just need to put the darker color and color out the top of each pointy thread, and you will get an easy but yet very detailed looking hair for Genos. So try this out. You can use Copics or you can use watercolors. As I said, the only difference is in the time of the drying. And of course, because Copics are alcohol based, I got a comment underneath one video. Comment was, "Oh my god, the Copics stink." Well, yeah, they're alcohol based, so they evaporate quickly so they can dry quickly, and alcohol does have a very specific smell, which is quite strong, and not many people like it. So that's one downside to Copic markers, I guess. And I wanted to tell you guys more about just using the best in your lines, and you can manipulate lines to get a lot of different cool effects. For example, I decided I wanted to have a really impact on my drawing, but not use a special background. And I decided to use my brush and ink again to just make an entire figure on this drawing pop out. So you'll see me doing that later. And as for what I'm doing now, I'm actually using a light brown shade to shade out the parts of the hair that pop out the most. So I'm using that trick I was telling you about again, and just marking the pointy ends of the hair threads with the darkest color, so it really looks like 3D image. And of course, one piece of advice, try to be extra careful when using brushes, because technically brushes are the toughest tool to learn how to use, because they can be really tricky. If the brush is not very quality, has a good quality, some of the parts of the brush may fall out and smudge up your work. So if you're buying a brush, buy one brush, but make sure that brush is good in quality. They're not really expensive, so it's like $2 a piece. And of course, as I always do, I get my white gel pen out and try to make the character pop out even more by marking some areas which are in front of the character or maybe important, like his eyes and some pieces of his hair. And as a special treat, you can download the line art and this drawing in full HD for free on my Patreon page in the description. And he's done. If you want to learn how to draw just like this, you can always support my work and purchase my book, Manga Crash course, available in English and in French languages. Also, check out my description for all the useful links, tools, and my Patreon page if you want to have a sketch done by me delivered to your home address every month. Thank you guys for all your love and support, and have a great New Year's. See you guys next time.